Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Jason Harding. This is Barbecue Round Table. We have a good show tonight. Got a guest on here who's going to tell us a lot of information about charcoal, competition, barbecue, and everything else. So, all that gets stated, let's get started. I'm going to bring him up. We get the party started. Introduce yourself to us, man.
Hey, Jason. Craig Verhage, the BBQ Ninja, marketing coordinator for Royal Oak Charcoal. And, man, been in the barbecue game some 25 plus years, and glad to be here. Appreciate you inviting me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's an honor. We've been trying to get each other coordinated for a little while, but we finally got it to work, and that's a good thing. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just said once I hit the road come February, I start meeting myself at the door a little bit. So, but glad I was here and excited to be on the show. So let's roll, man.
It is. So one of the questions I'd really like to kind of get into to get the backstory. Because like I said, part of the show is to kind of encourage people to get a passion for cooking, a passion for getting in barbecue. And one of the best ways to do that is to kind of tell a story of kind of how you got the passion. How did you get into barbecue? So kind of where's the story come from the passion of just grilling and cooking that led into barbecue in a whole? Where did it start at?
Growing up, I was in a pretty large family. I was the youngest of five boys, and so there were seven in our family. And anytime my dad, rolled the grill out on the back porch, it was always a special occasion. And it was either birthday or, a holiday, 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, something like that. So that always, it didn't matter what I was doing. I could be playing basketball in the park or baseball or, wiffle ball, something like that. And if I saw Dad pulling out that, it was actually a lime green PK grill. And he used old Diz charcoal back then, which Royal Oak actually made. So I found that out when I came on with Royal Oak. I had no idea, but my dad was a big baseball fan, and old Diz was, Brown Dizzy Dean, the baseball player. But whatever I was doing, I dropped, and I ran up to help my dad, and always, will remember that because it was a special occasion when the grill came out, and something was gonna go on there. So that's where it started. Just that excitement when he would get going, I'd get going.
Well, that's a good story. I mean, and I think that's kind of what one of the values to barbecue is. It brings people together, and stories like that, growing up, learning different stuff with that, and learning cooking and stuff at a young age, it kind of give family time to have a conversation together and just enjoy it.
Yeah. I tell people the story all the time. I didn't know there was a cut of steak besides a sirloin until I was about 13 or 14 years old. We were, I saw my dad, he marinate that sirloin in Italian dressing. And it was the greatest thing that I thought a steak could be, and same thing, burgers and hot dogs. It was more the basic stuff growing up, but it was something that of course.
All right, might have a little bit of a slow Wi-Fi here, so bear with us. We'll come back on in a second. I got you now. You back?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. So we had a little bit of cut out there, but so he, like I said, got the passion going into it. So your first grill that you cooked on was the PK grill. What's the first grill that you owned, that you bought, that you cooked on?
Man, the Weber kettle. You're probably going to hear that from about 90% of the people. That was the Weber kettle was the solid. I mean, it still is. It's still I actually use the little Smoky Joe a lot. It's just my wife and I. So having a Smoky Joe on the back porch table, and so I still use a Weber often, not all the time. I got other grills too, but that was it. I mean, and to anyone getting into barbecue that wants to get a first grill, you can't go wrong with a Weber kettle. Or one, there's knockoffs now, of course, that look just like it and all that. But that one is ease of use, the way to heat it and cool it, use the damper in the bottom to choke it down, and the top, you can close it up and get it cooled off, or open the top and let it roll. So that's a great grill to get started with.
Absolutely. I mean, it is the grandfather of all grills out there, because it hasn't really changed very much in a long time. I mean, there's a few things they tweaked about it, but the concept's the same. And you can actually take it and go low and slow with it. You can go hot and fast with it. It's a very versatile grill. And for somebody getting into cooking, getting out there and starting stuff, you can buy it. It's not that expensive, and you can learn a lot. I mean, best burgers you ever have is cooked on a little Weber kettle grill there with some charcoal. I mean, it's one of the best tasting things you'll get.
I agree totally.
So your team name, you come up with the BBQ Ninja. So what's the backstory with the BBQ Ninja?
Actually, I cook with Ubon's Barbecue out of Yazoo. That's the team that adopted me many years ago. And that's a whole nother story. I'll kind of go back to that story, because it'll lead into the BBQ Ninja nickname and everything. But I was on a team, we were guys fresh out of college. The team name was Porkin' to Please. And like I said, it was probably 10 of us that hadn't been out of college a year or two, and guys having fun. And we messed around, and finally the first competition that we cooked in was Cleveland, Mississippi, my local competition where I live. And of course, you have fun, you got competition, and hey, we broke even. I was gonna say we made a little money, but you never make money in competition barbecue, you know that. But after a few years, we did pretty good. But after a few years, the guys they started, we all kind of got to different phases in life, had kids, and, got married, didn't have kids. And then some moved away and lost interest. And along that time frame, I met Gary Roark, which cooked with Ubon's Barbecue. He was the pitmaster, Ubon's Barbecue of Yazoo, and actually went to college with his daughter Leslie, and both his daughters, Jennifer also, and they're both son-in-laws. And we just really got to know each other well on the barbecue circuit, and we were ragtag, so we would notoriously forget dry rub. Something that you're supposed to definitely have or remember. We would forget. We need a shovel. We need we need charcoal, or we'd forget something. And he always had everything, and he was always very open to lending whatever we needed. So he and I got to be great friends. And it was Memphis in May. It's been a while back. Kind of ended up, I was at the end of the Memphis in May. Came time to pack up, and I was there basically by myself. These other guys had rolled out and got these phantom phone calls. Hey, my wife said I needed to get home, this, that, and another. So, I made the decision after that this is just too much, for one person. And really had made the decision to not continue. And Gary had heard that and gave me a call, and he was like, hey man, if you want to stay in barbecue, we'd love to have you on our team. And I'll never forget that call, because man, he was absolutely tearing it up in competition barbecue. I mean, he's winning everything. And plus got to know him so well. He's just a wonderful person, and treated me like I was a son of his already. And so, yeah, I decided to come on with them. And man, that was some 25 plus years ago. And he not only showed me a lot about barbecue, but he taught me a lot about life, about how to treat people, and, take your front porch wherever you go, invite people in, sit around, and have a drink with them, and have a good time. And then it's probably been 7-8 years ago. We were in New York cooking at the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party, and there was a film crew there doing a documentary on us. And whenever I do these festivals, you're cooking outside and it's hot and you're over grills, so I'd wear a bandana just to keep from sweating on the food. And then of course we're outside. I'd wear sunglasses because the sun's bright. And whenever we start to go, I call it go time. And I'd go off by myself and I'd put the bandana on and tie it up and put the sunglasses on and get ready to go. Well, when I did that in New York, I turned around and guy had a camera right there, and the cameraman actually said the quote, "The BBQ Ninja arises," and then I just kind of bowed to the camera and threw it up, but I tell you, that's when the name was actually, nickname was given to me. But at first I didn't embrace it. It was not something that was all of a sudden, oh man, this is something I need to roll with. It was just kind of fun, whatever. And then on probably a couple years later, Leslie and I were going to Australia we were pitmasters in an event they were having over there. And while I was in the airport about to go to Australia, I got a phone call from Food Network. And Food Network was like, "Hey, we want you to be on Chop Grill Masters." And I was like, okay, that's really, really cool. And so my mind started working, and that I really need to kind of get my stuff together, so to speak. And when I was over in Australia, they introduced me as the BBQ Ninja. And I saw the people's reactions. It was really, really cool. They loved it, and kids loved it. And I had a guy come around to the booth we were in and give me this little Ninja Warrior figurine, and I thought that was cool. And I was like, okay, we got something here. And so when I got back from Australia, I changed all my social media to somebody already had grabbed BBQ Ninja. So that's when I did the BBQ Ninja, and changed all my social media to that. And when I went on Chop Grill Masters, they were like, "Hey man, we want the bandana, we want the BBQ Ninja. That's what you need to be on camera." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." And so it just started rolling from there on, and really just kind of capturing what I do and how I do it. And of course, as everybody, I guess, kind of knows I do things differently. And but that was kind of the philosophy of my brand from the beginning. If you do the same thing everybody else is doing, you're just going to be like everybody else. You got to do some things to separate yourself, to stand out. And especially doing these events we did, you have to get people's attention. And that's where the flamethrower came in. We were actually years later at the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party, and we were cooking chicken wings that year. We actually in 2 days cooked 18,000 chicken wings. But we had these grills out front, and we had the roll up lump charcoal in the grills, and so I was getting them started, and I had the flamethrower, and I was hitting it with the flamethrower, and I was kind of in the lighting of it, how you get concentrating on it. And I looked up, and man, there was 15 people with video cameras. They were videoing me lighting this charcoal with the flamethrower, because the sound of it, I mean, if you hear one, you're like, I got to find this thing. What's going on? And so and at that event, people stand in the line for a long time. So you're kind of entertaining them while they're standing in line waiting to get their food. And I was like, hey man, I'm fixing to put this flamethrower on these chicken wings. And I did that for 2 days, and my shoulders, I couldn't even lift my arms. But when it was all said and done, that was like, okay, I got something here too. And so just have taken that and ran with it. Of course, it's very functional, because man, you hit those wings or anything else with the sauce, and you kind of brulee it with the flamethrower, it really adds a lot of flavor to anything you're cooking. So not only is it cool, it's functional as far as creating, the dish or flavor that you're looking for. So it's kind of where that came about too. So it's been fun, been a lot of
I think that's really just cool point to have about that is the way teams come up with names. It's very unique. It's always got a story behind it, and it kind of gives a part of the personality, like you said, something other to stand out, something other to be unique, something other that says who you are with your team name. I know when we were teaching at Red Tech class academy and stuff here, when they have that, they basically come in there and they basically have everybody breaks up in teams and they choose their own team name. And it's really cool how everybody embraces that team name. And just like you did, you've kind of had a team name and embrace a team name. And I would say if you're just cooking at your house, you're not even doing competition, you're just cooking at home, get you an avatar, get you a team name, and just kind of run with it. It's funny. It's fun to joke about too.
It is. It's been real fun to and to go back a little bit, with the logo. I mean, you've probably seen the sticker. And matter of fact, I need to get one in your background there somewhere. I need to send you a sticker so we can get you showing it off. But I had an idea for a logo, and at the time, Aaron Campbell on our cooking team was doing some marketing and making logos. And I sent her an idea, and really what I sent her was kind of a ninja looking guy with a beard, and the first thing she sent me back was that current logo that I have. And it was me, it was, I was like, oh my gosh, drop the mic. This is it. It needs nothing. It needs to get into production is what it needs. And so she knocked that out of the park. And, that's been cool. Cause I probably give out 1,000 stickers during the year. I give out a lot of them. So that's kind of been my calling card too. And it's been fun doing that.
So same conversation like our logo. I don't have it right here on me right now, but my logo, Elite BBQ Smokers, I sent it to my cousin. It's a really good artist. And I said, this is my name. I want a snobby ass pig for the logo. And then she brought it back. And well, let me see it right
there. You got it. You got it right behind you there.
It's just like a top hat, glasses on, looking up, nose in the air, pig.
On the side.
Yeah, so it's all cool, man. But it's just the funny stories. I mean, people do stuff like that. They create their own logo. They take that story and they make a story out of it. And it just kind of it's man, I tell everybody starting out doing anything else, have your team name, have your man cave out there, call it something cool. I mean, I just think that makes it kind of unique. And that helps build the passion.
Right. And a little to that is, seeing some of these team names of some of these teams, you have to be a little bit careful in what you name your team too, because when you start getting into the sponsorship arena, it needs to be a little bit clean. It needs to be a little bit politically correct, not all the way, but just somewhat. So sponsors can at least post it, so. Be mindful of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's this very good point. I mean, you got to think about it. If you want to market it for that, you need to kind of have a name that you want somebody to be happy about saying, and not some of them. But hey, it is funny what it is. But it's a really cool story with that. So let's kind of get into the let me say it this way. You have been involved in the last several years. I've seen you on TV shows. I've seen you on different stuff with a lot of teams, Memphis MA, Houston Livestock Radio Show. And you've been involved with a bunch of teams. So explain kind of how that works with cooking with some of these different teams and being involved with it, and just how you get into something like that. That's pretty amazing.
Well, of course, the primary team that I cook on is Ubon's, barbecue. But even through the years of cooking, we, went from strictly a competition team to we do more events now and charity events and things like that. And I guess my situation is a little bit unique and a little bit complicated because, representing Royal Oak, I have that brand that I represent also, and then the BBQ Ninja brand, and I do some events, and people are like, "Hey, is this a BBQ Ninja event or is this a Royal Oak event?" But over the years, it's gotten to be where where I go, Royal Oak goes, and where Royal Oak goes, I go. Because what's good for my brand's good for the Royal Oak brand, and vice versa. But you know, like the Houston Livestock and Rodeo this past weekend, you know, I was with a team called Brew Crew Smokers, and I was there, you know, doing cooking alligators, and I cooked a whole hog for them. And I don't do much competition barbecue anymore. That's kind of, I've been there and done that, so to speak. And a matter of fact, this weekend, somebody asked me, you get bored with, or does it get old, you know, winning awards and stuff? My satisfaction now is watching others do it. It's seeing these people that working real hard at their craft and working real hard and getting rewarded for that hard work in placing or winning, or that's where I get my satisfaction. I like seeing that fire, because I mean, I've been there, I've done that, and I know what it meant to me when I was doing that. So now being able to help someone fulfill that, be it a dream or be it a goal or what have you, helping someone accomplish that is my satisfaction now. And in the competition,
You know, we're talking about
or you know, vending, or go ahead.
and so we're talking about that, you know, kind of same thing. You take off what you're talking about here. We was talking about the other day, and talking to people that done giving classes in barbecue, backyard classes, pro class, or whatever else. And it's amazing how excited they are to see somebody that they've kind of taught be successful. Same thing you were saying before. I mean, and the thing about barbecue is really different, and a lot of other things we've said this on the show many times is I'm happy for the people to beat me to do good barbecue and get name called. I still want to win, but when they beat me, I'm not upset about it. Not to them, I might be upset at myself. But like you said, you want to be there to be encouraging and help people see them be successful. Because like this past weekend, Casual Smokers got his first GC down there at Iron Station, and he just started cooking KCBS, and he whipped everybody's behind. I mean, he done an awesome job. So we love seeing that. I mean, that's amazing to see stuff like that. But
yeah, that the learning curve is not near as great as it was when I started in barbecue. You know, there's so much information out there now, and you know, between YouTube and the classes, and so many great rubs and so many great sauces out there, and folks showing their process. Your learning curve really is, there's no curve in it anymore. It's a learning line. I mean, you go straight to it, and you know, I ruined a lot of barbecue figuring out, you know, what was good, and or what was competition barbecue, because as you know, that's totally different than what you're cooking in your backyard. It's like the guys, you know, this past weekend in Houston, Brew Crew Smokers, when I first started cooking with these guys, I mean, they cook good product, but they were bringing, you know, what they cooked in their backyard to the competition barbecue scene, and it's different. You know, it's just different. And I had to tell them, you know, I'm not saying what you're putting in that box is not good. As a matter of fact, it's really good, but it's just not competition barbecue. And so, you know, those guys decided to, you know, get some help in the competition barbecue part of it. And, you know, final last 3 years there, and you know, they're have done very well understanding the difference of competition barbecue and backyard barbecue. And so, you know, there's a difference. There's a distinct difference.
So I was asked this question last night at a meeting I was at, and they were asking me, because I was talking about barbecue. They're like, what's the difference between competition barbecue and cooking barbecue at home? And you were just saying there's a difference in that. Yeah. In your opinion, what is the difference in that? What's the big difference in those two?
Well, in competition barbecue, you're trying to wow that judge with one bite. So you're trying to pack in as much flavor. So when that judge takes that one bite, you know, you got their attention. You got their wow. You know, where at home, you know, you're going to take more than one bite. I mean, you're going to eat that whole rack of ribs. You know, you're going to eat, you know, a whole barbecue sandwich. I mean, you're not just going to eat a piece. And so, you know, I guess the injections, the rubs, the sauces, you know, everything that you put into that competition barbecue, you're putting it in for one bite, be it a bite of chicken or be it a bite of ribs or any of it, brisket. I mean, it's just that. I mean, it is, you're trying to blow that judge's mind with that one bite. Where at home or backyard, you're cooking, what you like. And I'm not saying you don't like competition barbecue, but as well as I do, you're not going to eat a lot of it. You're not going to eat a lot of it. It's just so rich and got a lot of phosphates in it, and it's just that's the biggest difference.
Right, and that's what I was telling the same gentleman. I said, you got to understand something here. So it says, I want that gentleman to take one bite, and this be the best one bite he's had all night, and he's go to the next one. But you're right. And my wife, who made a friend of ours, they wanted one of our top competition cheesecakes. And so I told him, I said, now listen, he said, I want that 180 cheesecake. I'll pay you for it. I'm like, all right, I want you to understand something now. That's a competition cheesecake. You don't eat a big slice of that cheesecake. It's not designed that way. It's designed for a small little slice, enjoy a bunch of times. And he didn't listen to me. He had a big slice. He said it was good. He said, but you're right. It's just it's too much over time when you start eating it. But again, that's what we do to ourselves with that. And I think now if we look at competition barbecue, you're talking about learning curve. I think one of the downsides to it, such a short learning curve, is at the end of the day, I think all the flavors pretty much run down a single lane highway. Whereas before, something a little bit different. I mean, some of the Texas guys during COVID had the Roof Teak series going on. That was out here in the Southeast cooking, and they had a little bit different flavor from that Texas, the heat or whatever it had, and they were doing really good out here because it was something different. And I think that all of us kind of got stuck in here like, all right, this works. It may not win every weekend, but you'll be in the top 50%, the top 30% or whatever, and so we kind of stay in that lane. And I think that's one of the, I wouldn't say downsides to it, but that's one of the cause and effects of everybody just getting really tight and short window with classes and everything else.
Yeah, and I think if you can think back to when the drum smokers came on the scene, that particular charcoal along with smoke flavor and getting that different, that little bit of char on that meat, as opposed to, cooking in a water cooker cabinet or something like that, where, you're not going to get that char. I mean, you're going to get a great piece of meat. It's going to be very moist, but you're not going to get that char flavor that, the fat from that product's dripping down into that charcoal and it's coming back up through that meat. And so I think that's one thing, when they came on the scene that differentiated that product and why it really, took off like it did, because it was something different. And it was, of course, now you got a lot of drums rolling out there. So, that lane has again narrowed and I see people, I see, some people jumping back to offsets and, kind of jumping back to some things that they did before, to maybe even go, have it get in a different lane again, but you're right. If it works and people are winning with it, everybody's going to jump on, everybody's going to roll with it. It is definitely a copycat deal because like I said, it's what are they doing?
I mean, that's
somebody wins a world championship and then they have a class and they tell you what they do and you're going to do it,
I mean, so, it's proven.
Right.
Definitely proven.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
I mean, that's why I cook on 4 drums. But now kind of getting into the science we talked about here. We're talking about kind of before the show a little bit. And my mic's acting up here. But the getting into the science of it here. Talking about charcoal. And so you with Royal Charcoal, we've said it in the show, you one of their marketing guys, been involved with a lot of stuff like that. For somebody just starting cooking tomorrow, and they're looking at this here, and they go by the store and they see all these different types of charcoal. Explain the science in a sense, kind of like between the natural, the supersized chunks, and hardwood lump. Explain kind of the in your mind how the science behind those and how those differentiate for somebody using them that don't know no better, is learning from.
Well, first and foremost, you got to know your cooker. You got to know your grill. You got to know, you got to know that how to properly vent it, how to properly, maintain heat, fire management. Your hardwood lump It's actual carbonated wood. It's all natural. I like the fact that, I love the fact that royal oak is made in the USA. It's all Missouri hardwoods, it's hickory and oak, and where our supersized briquette that we came out last year is 50% bigger. It's a bigger briquette, so it settles in. It has longer heat. It provides that long burn, but it also is hot because of the bigger briquette. And we were talking about drum smokers when we came out with the supersize. There's a lot of people that they'd fill half that basket up with supersize, and they fill the other half of the basket up with the lump, and they'd start that lump and they.
I lost you on that one. So what he's talking about right here is in the basket with the drums. So what he's got is he starts filling it up.
It's settle in, and those. Yeah. And so once the lump burned down and you got to the larger supersized briquette, then, it would, a longer burn would settle in and it would finish off the longer cook of that bigger cut of meat. So a lot of people started using the supersize, in those drums and things like that. And personally, now the all natural briquette is just what it says. There is a binder in the supersized briquette. Where the all natural briquette does not have a binder. So, I mean, that's your biggest difference of the three. And then, of course, the all natural is not as big as the supersize. And it burns, it doesn't settle in as long. It doesn't have the longer burn like the supersized briquette does. So I tell you, Jason, it is important to me and my brand and what I do to know not only the product that I use, but also what's behind the product that I use. And, that's very important to me and my brand because, it being made in the USA and not only that is it, is made in Southeast Missouri, these small towns. So, people need to understand that when they buy an American made product, that money stays in America and it goes into these small towns. It supports these small towns. And, I go to a plant and you see a third generation, person working there. It's raised families in these small towns. And that's important, that know that not using a foreign charcoal and your money is going overseas where the charcoal came from. So, and also the people that represent the brand is important too. You guys out there that are representing royal oak charcoal, it's important to us to know that we've got the best of the best out there that's using our product because, people seeing you guys use this product makes them want to use it because not only are y'all producing world championship results, but y'all are great people that stand behind a great product and makes people want to use it even more.
Well, I mean, and that goes with what we're talking about earlier here about the quality of products you have. I mean, Royal Oak's got a great brand. They got the lumps, supersize, all that stuff. It's got reliability. We know we can get every time we start using it. But it goes also back what you're saying before too. You really truly got to understand what your cooker's going to use, what your cooker's going to do, how your cooker's going to interact with it. So if you've got like a gravity smoker and you start putting stuff in there, you got to understand, make sure that fires don't burn down, it's not having breathing stuff into it. And so you start looking at the products going into it. That's what you do it, and you have consistency with that. That's one of the biggest things behind it is having quality products to be consistent. And for a competition cook, consistency is key. I mean, that is one of the biggest things about it. That's why we cook the same proteins, the same charcoal, the same rubs, a lot of times the same things to repeat a process to have it consistent. And that's what we're relying on.
Right. And people that are just, starting to burn charcoal. I've got a brother not too long ago that just got his first charcoal grill and he was burning charcoal for the first time and he got lump charcoal and he dumped the whole bag in the grill and burn up everything that he was trying to cook. And he calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, what the heck's going on? This is, I can't control this thing." And of course I asked the questions. I was like, "Well, how much charcoal did you put in there?" He's like, "Man, I put the whole bag in there." I was like, "Oh my gosh," and of course I had to explain, having, a hot side and a cold side, having somewhere you can escape. And I had to go through the whole venting, and you put the lid on it, you choke the, oxygen down, it cools the fire. And second time he had it, he was on time and he was money with it. But, and there's so much information out there, Jason, somebody's going to get into it. There's no need in going into it blind. And that you can go to royaloak.com. We've got a YouTube page. We've got how-to videos. We've got basic recipes. We got, all that is on the royaloak.com site. And it's all out there, to help not only the novice cooker, but also the little more advanced cooker that wants to, have some recipes and ideas to do some things differently.
Well, and I think that's a very good point. There's a lot of information you have online. YouTube, go to my page, you do the same thing. See information we got, recipes and stuff. If you got any questions, Facebook, DM me a message, private message me on there, and we'll be able to kind of answer that question and go about it. But one of the things we're talking about the science of it, and we're kind of talking about different charcoals and stuff here. The other piece of that you understand is how your charcoal, your smoke, is interact with the flavors you put in the meat. So if you do something that's got like a Weber kettle grill, we were talking about earlier, you can do it kind of hot and fast. Do what he's talking about here about having a hot zone and cold zone, a hot zone, cool zone, 2-zone cooking. But if you use a sauce on there, it's got a lot of brown sugar into it. You put that right over the hot side, where the lump hardwoods will be so hot, it's gonna char. It's gonna be too much. So you got to understand kind of how to take that flavor once you put that on there and move it to the cool side. Now you get the flavor come in there and the smoke come in there and you interact with it. Same thing with the briquettes. You start doing that with a brisket, you wouldn't get bark on there. You got to understand kind of how to make it so you kind of give the low and slow cook, get the natural fibers out of it to give you that smoke to help you establish that flavor and that bark in the brisket. Isn't that what you would agree to?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's the 2-zone cooking or just anytime I set up a charcoal grill to even hot and fast cook, I like to have, I always call it somewhere to escape. You want to get off of that flame, or if it flares up or anything, have somewhere to go, have somewhere to take the meat to get it off of that. But yeah, as far as the sugars and things like that, anytime I'm going to do barbecue pork chops, barbecue chicken or anything, that sauce is just the finisher. It's a glaze at the very end that I want to put on there to set. And so I pretty much have everything cooked. Everything's ready to go. It's just at the very end, I'm gonna put it on there because I don't want that high heat to char those sugars and to really, get that bittery burn on there that burnt sugar will do, as well,
But when you get that balance, you get that charcoal flavor, you get them rubs and the salsa, everything else come together, make a balance out of it. It don't matter if you're doing competition or backyard. It's gonna be awesome products. That's what you're looking for.
That's it. My favorite cut of meat to cook and eat is a pork steak. And if you get the char on the outside of that pork steak, that fat, you get it right, and you get that rub on there and that sauce on there, and you get that charred edge of that pork steak good and there's not a better bite in the world. I'd rather have that than a Wagyu fillet, and so, yeah, when you hit it all together and you get it right, it's right. And so that's what you're looking for. That's what you strive to do.
And Tailgater Hater had a really good point down here, and we cannot forget about this. So this right here, in my opinion, is going to be a game changer for the backyard cook at home. I've been using this stuff for a number of years. Get my hands on them, and I use them in the video. You'll see me use them. You see me mix them with wood pellets to kind of give me that flavor for both and the heat from the charcoal pellets. But I think at the end of the day, that right there, them royal charcoal pellets y'all have is phenomenal.
That was one of the first projects I got put on when I started with Royal Oak was the charcoal pellets, and the first charcoal pellet we looked at was actually a blended pellet. You know, it did have in the pellet some wood, and it was also charcoal kind of compressed, and really wasn't too impressed with that pellet. We sent it out and kind of had some people test it out, and during that test, this particular pellet, the 100% charcoal pellet, was discovered, and then that pellet came around, and we did some testing with it, and it was, I mean, from Jump Street, I mean, I thought it was an absolute slam dunk home run product. Not only, I mean, it's true to what we do. I mean, we make charcoal, and this is 100% charcoal pellet. And so not only are we getting in the pellet market, but we're getting in the pellet market with 100% charcoal, which is true to our brand. But, you know, all the claims we make, it does. I probably, during the testing phase of it, had 20 different pitmasters do test cookings with it on probably 10 to 12 different pellet cookers to make sure they all performed. Everything was good to go. All of it checked out. You know, the high heat, they're more efficient. They're, you know, water resistant. They're everything we claim. I mean, it is a very, very good product, and you know, it's been cool to watch it get out there in the market and really gain momentum and get going. So, but you know, I see a lot of people, you know, mixing it and blending it with other wood pellets, which is cool. But yeah, that's something we noticed. So stay tuned.
Yeah, so I mean, and this thing back, it's a really good product. You put it in a grill, especially a little rectangle bullseye, and you want to cook a steak hot and fast. I'm telling you, man, them little bad boys there will roll, and that's kind of it's an awesome flavor to it.
It's kind of funny too, Jason. You say that, man, because you know, people they're cooking over 100% charcoal. You know, and we get, you read some of these keyboard cops, and they're like, it didn't give any charcoal flavor. Well, how's 100% charcoal not going to give charcoal flavor? I mean, what are you doing that nobody else is? Of course, it's going to give charcoal flavor. It's 100% charcoal. So yeah, those comments sometimes tickle me when people say that. But you know, we were in Houston last week, and we got there and we started the smoker that we cooked on. We started it Thursday morning, and we turned it off Saturday night, and we fed it 100% charcoal pellets the whole time we were there. It was one of these Smoking Brothers shacks, and it's got a lot of quantity. I mean, we cooked unreal amounts of food on it, and you know, those pellets just perform flawlessly, and we're real happy with all the product that came off of it. So they're everything we say they are, and if you haven't tried it, you got to get out there and try it, because you know, you'll get hooked quick.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, and the water resistance. I mean, we had down at the beach house, just Memorial Day weekend. Was down there with Frank, with Yes Deer, and Jason Singletary. The Smoke Central. We was down there hanging out. We got a raining tornado that Jason Singletary called it. I mean, he's the best one-liner in the world. And we had everything else. Charcoal's out there. They're getting wet 2 days in a row. They ain't hurt. They cooking. They cook ribs. They cook baby backs. They cook steaks. They cook burgers. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, honest to God, you cannot beat it in that situation. I mean, it's amazing products. I mean, it does. Now, I love cooking charcoal. I love cooking charcoals, but again, the pellet smokers have a convenience factor that if you want to go cut the grass, you can turn your pellet smoker on and cook Boston butts, cook a brisket, whatever else, and cut your grass and keep checking on it. Where you cannot do that so much on a grill with charcoal sometimes. You got to kind of keep an eye on it. So from a convenience standpoint, now you got the opportunity to get the charcoal flavor from Royal charcoal pellets, and you got the flavor from that. You got reliability from a pellet smoker, and at the end of the day, got top-notch quality products. And that's what you're looking for.
Well, you know, it goes back to a saying that I say all the time, Jason, is the only wrong way to cook is not at all. You know, if you're out there and you're providing food for your family and they're enjoying what they're eating, it doesn't matter if you're cooking on an old tin coffee can. You're cooking. You're out there doing what you love to do, and you're producing great food for your family. So I own 3 pellet grills. I mean, you know, and I love them, and everything has its place. But the pellet grill has brought in a lot of people in the market of barbecue, of cooking barbecue, that normally would not be in it. I mean, they would not be doing any cooking. So it definitely has its place, and it has carved a great place and spot in the market. And we've recognized that, obviously, with the charcoal pellet coming out. And so, yeah, more power to it. You know, get out there and, instead of sitting on the couch and ordering pizza, get a pellet grill and, you know, put some ribs and Boston butt on there and cook some good food for yourself.
Or get a pizza stone and cook your pizza on it. I mean,
yeah,
you get a high temperature up there and make it. I mean, you put a charcoal grill, you put a pizza on a charcoal grill, pellet smoker with charcoal pellets, and it is absolutely blew my mind. I mean, it is truly phenomenal.
I've done all kinds of stuff on a pellet grill. I mean, I've cooked pies, and I've cooked, baked and done pizzas, obviously, and all kinds of good stuff. So it's limitless.
Yeah. The whole point about the whole show is, and you've heard a lot of different stories from charcoal, from pellet smokers and stuff like that. But the thing about it is, we started on Weber kettle grills and went out there to learn to cook on that. Some people try on propane grills, nothing wrong with it. But the thing about it is take that passion, take that whole ball game, and go out there and just try it. If you screw it up, so what? Just try it, because if you keep messing up, you'll learn it. Next thing you know, you'll blow your mind at how well the food tastes. I mean, just have a good time with it.
That's it. That's it. Like I said, the only wrong way to do it is not at all.
Absolutely.
The other way is a good way.
That's awesome. See, like I said, y'all got some new stuff coming out here. We've been blessed to be sponsored by Royal Charcoal. It's been a great group for several years. This man right here is one of the gentlemen that's been able to be part of that and go out there and do it. And like we were talking about earlier here, when we go out there and be sponsors, one thing I will say, a piece of advice on that is, you got to go out there and kind of put your name out there, show a format, be a name, have a reputable come out there, make sure your Facebook page, your social media pages to show stuff you want everybody to see. And over a period of time, you start building up momentum, just like he did with the BBQ Ninja. You create momentum, and now it's a different conversation. But I think that's something to strive for.
Yeah, you know, for any team getting out there that are striving to earn sponsorship, you know, I don't ever say you've been given a sponsorship. No one is given anything. That's the way I was raised. You earn everything you get. And I have, you know, people that'll tell me, man, appreciate you giving us a sponsorship. And I'm like, man, you earned that. You know, you got out there and you hustled, and but yeah, you know, we do look at not only competition barbecue, but we look at other things. We look at what you're cooking in the backyard, you know, what you put on your social media. Do you work at your social media? You know, it's good. I always use the example of, you know, if you go and win a barbecue competition and there's 50 people there, then you 50 people see you win. But if you got social media where you got 5,000, you know, then you got 50 people and 5,000 more that see that and what you're doing, and a lot more eyes out there, especially when things start getting shared and liked and commented on, and then you know, it gets out there to your backyard cooker that may be looking at you for inspiration or for recipes or for things like that. Because ultimately that's what we want to do with a product, which really about any product is going to want to do is appeal to the backyard cooker. Because I mean, how many competition barbecue teams are there? There's a limited amount, but how many, you know, backyards are out there? It's a huge number. And that's the number we want to tap into, and that's the people that we want to influence and to go out there and buy the roll-up products. So that's the end game for sure.
Yeah, that's what the focus is. We want to go out there and let them become comfortable when them start cooking and start being part of products because they go there and buy charcoal, they'll buy the State Farm briskets, they'll buy the food that Prairie Fresh, Square Mountain Farms chicken. They go home and cook it. They'll learn about it, and next thing you know, they're doing more things, whether it's a social media standpoint or just feeding their family, just having a good time with it. That's where the focus is on that.
That's it. That's it. And I tell you, you were talking about new products. We do have some new products coming out this year. We have the Flame Saber that's coming out this year, which is a lighter that throws a flame out probably 8-12 inches, and it's a nice little torch lighter that it makes it easy if you're reaching down into a drum or trying to light those tumbleweeds from down in the bottom of a grill or something like that. Makes it much easier. Your cigar smokers, it definitely makes it easier to light a cigar, but you got to be careful because if you got a beard like this, you can light that dude up too. And we also have canned heat coming out. It's actually on the market, and canned heat is our it's the I don't want to use the word sterno because that's a competitor, but it's the food service heating flame under your service pans and things like that, and it's got a wick in it, so it's a lot safer. If it tumps over, you drop it or something, and you don't have that fluid going everywhere and catching everything on fire. And it's cool to the touch, so you can grab it and move it around, and which is really good because if you ever have reached in a warming cabinet and grabbed one of those things to move and forgot to put a heat glove on, you're gonna burn your hands. So great product. It's already out and it's doing real well. And we're gonna have supersized instant briquette come out this year also. The supersize, of course, was released last year, and I tell you, it really, really did well on the market. It surprised.
It's a good product.
To say the least, and so we're going to build off of that momentum of the supersize and do an instant briquette with the supersize. So that's coming out also, and so yeah, we got some exciting stuff going on, and we're just trying to keep things new, keep things fresh, and put products out that's useful to the backyard cook and that they'll enjoy using.
Well, I appreciate what y'all doing. If y'all want to find out anything about it, in the show notes, you go there, you can find out his Facebook post, Instagram, and also links on Royal Oak Charcoals where his page is on there. Also, check out stuff we've got here. You go to Elite Barbecue Smokers, go to the notes, you can find out stuff we've got. Make sure you share with your friends and family for this barbecue round table. You go on to YouTube Music and watch the shows and the previous shows and stuff like that. Also, keep your eyes out. We got some new stuff coming out. We're probably looking at doing the backyard class here in Conway. Kind of just something more of an introduction style for different stuff to kind of help some people get into barbecue. That's what we want people to do, kind of get into it and be part of it. But again, appreciate y'all watching the show. If you want to get any message, send us a message. We'll help you out any way we can. All that being stated, thank you for watching the show.
Hey, real quick before you cut us off, you cut us off yet?
I ain't no.
Okay. I just want to give a little plug for myself here. You can
sorry.
go. That's all right, man. If people aren't following me yet, I wanted to tell them to go to Instagram, Facebook is the BBQ Ninja, and also my TikTok's the BBQ Ninja. Twitter is the _BBQ _Ninja. And of course, at Royal Oak Charcoal is all of our social media there. And our royaloak.com has buy now buttons. So I get the question all the time, where can I find this? Because sometimes a product will go out into select stores. And if I say, well, it's in Lowe's, it's selected Lowe's. So how to find that is you go to royaloak.com under the product you're looking for, you hit the buy now button and you put your address or zip code under the buy now spot. It'll tell you what stores close to you have what product you're looking for in stock. So please do that also.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Definitely. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you out of there.
No, that's all right. I definitely wanted to get the buy now button in there because, man, I get asked that all the time. I couldn't find this. I couldn't find that. Well, go on that and put it in there. He'll tell you exactly where it is and if it's in stock. So
Well,
always
all
good.
his links we definitely put in the show notes. YouTube links. I mean, the your YouTube channel and the TikTok and all that stuff. We'll make sure all that's in the notes so everybody check it out. But again, check out the products. Check out Royal Charcoal. I promise you, you start using it, you'll fall in love with it just like I have.
Hey, come join the family. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, guys. See you next week.
All right.